How close is the mic supposed to be? Hello?
Like, that's really close. Like, you could probably have it, like, here and
here?
be safe.
You're outside of your mind.
Outside of your mind?
Not out of your mind, but outside of your mind. Like,
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered with Jordan. I'm your host, Jordan Ellerson, and this is...
Markus.
You have to say your last name.
Oh, Markus Krogstad Tveito.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
All right, and today we're going to be kind of just like recapping some athletic stuff, some injuries, how me and Marcus met, and why he's so important to be on the podcast here today. Marcus, what brought you to Longwood? Like, if you could backtrack just the last few years of how you ended up here in Farmville.
It's a long story. Like, before coming to Farmville or Farm Vegas, I was in Indiana. So I spent 2.5 or 1.5 years in Indiana. And I had a great coach, great assistant coach. They brought me to summer league. Everything was good. And I got injured my first year. And they got an offer from Longwood University to be the main coaches here. So they wanted to bring me and 2 others from Indiana. So that's like the short version of how I got here. So yeah.
So then so prior to that, like what was growing up? Where are you from? How'd you get into soccer? Like that kind of like backstory.
Soccer when I was 3 years old.
Okay.
In Norway, in not a small city, but not a big city either. Compared to US, it's a small city, but in Norway, it's like a decent city. Just been playing every year, every month, like throughout the winter, summer, like never stopped playing. And I don't know, just having a soccer ball in my feet just makes everything better.
So it's always been soccer?
Always been soccer. Early age, it was some other things. For example, ballet.
You did ballet?
I did ballet.
What?
I did ballet. I did swimming for like 10, 11 years. One more. I went cross-country skiing.
Okay.
Probably some more things.
Oh, okay. I didn't know all that.
Taekwondo.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
A lot of things. I liked ballet, but my mom told me when the girls were starting to wear skirts in pink, that's when
You had to...
Yeah, it was too much for me.
Too much for you?
Yeah,
okay.
Too much for me.
So when you were at Indiana, you said you got injured.
I did.
And you're currently injured.
I am currently injured.
So what was your injury there? What is your injury here? And your eligibility is kind of like your story about your eligibility is kind of crazy because you really haven't gotten the opportunity to really play through a full season.
True.
Which is what we kind of have bonded over.
Exactly.
So give them the backstory as to like what happened and what's happening now.
I got to US in January,
Yeah.
and soccer don't have season.
Yeah.
What is that, fall
you guys are
or-
a fall sport.
Fall sport. So
Yeah.
I came January, spring, 23. I played my first semester, but like it's no eligibility thing. Played against some good schools, did good, and then I went to summer league, which is like soccer over the summer, and did good. Everything was good there, but I think fourth last game, I scored a free kick. Went to celebrate a little bit too hard.
Yeah.
So when I landed, my knee went straight in and tore my ACL, 2 small fractures, meniscus 2 places. It was a big injury.
Yeah.
I was injured for about 9 months. So I didn't play my first semester, which means I still have 4 years of eligibility by then. Did all my rehab. I do think I started a little bit too early, to be honest.
Yeah. It's hard when you go through an injury and all you want to do is play.
Yeah.
I feel like it's hard and it's your first time doing it. You probably just assumed it was fine.
Yeah, and like it's my first proper injury. Like, I had a couple sprained ankles, been out for a couple of days, but nothing more than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, get back here and everything feels. I can't lie, it was a little bit iffy, the knee, but I felt good.
Yeah.
Started to get back in shape and everything, and then we played. I think it was Navy at home.
Yeah.
And I think it was first game of the conference, like official game. So I played that game. I started my first game starting as well. And yeah, just reach for a ball, and then again my knee goes I felt like a pop, and my knee goes in, popped right in and right out again. And it was like a weird situation. I bounced up in the air after, and mid-air, I grabbed my knee again.
Yeah.
Again. So much emotions going through the head at that point. Like,
Yeah.
my first thought was like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, I'm 22 years old, have 4 years of eligibility.
It's okay. All right. So you tear your ACL the second time.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing though. Like, so many thoughts went through my mind when I was in the air.
Yeah.
So weird. But I instantly thought I tore everything back up again. If you prepare for the worst, you can only be you can never be more
disappointed.
Yeah, more disappointed than what you are already. So I did that. But I got back from the MRI and all this, didn't tear my ACL.
Okay, so then you ended up
tear my meniscus.
Okay, well, yeah, that's still bad, but
it's not 11 months, it's 6 months.
The recovery is different. Yeah.
It is. So I tore my meniscus almost the whole way.
Yeah.
So I needed 10 stitches to fix it.
Yeah. And then so now you're kind of at a point where, like, I know it's hard, like, when you get injured multiple times, because, like, mine was kind of similar. Like, freshman year, I didn't play because I was told by doctors that if I rested and just did rehab, it was just a strength problem, not a tear. Well, it was a tear the whole time, and it was just read wrong. And so then come back my sophomore year, play through, like, that pain and kind of, like, that mental, it's hard, like, mentally, because I'm sure when you came back too soon, you probably were in, like, a little bit of pain, but you probably just were kind of pushing through at the beginning.
Exactly,
and then you learn to play through that pain, and then you become tolerant to it.
Yeah.
And then it's hard because you don't know when to stop. So then what was a small tear turned into a complete tear. So then my junior year, it got to the point where I couldn't sit for more than 10 minutes without being in pain. Like, I couldn't go for a car ride. I couldn't, like, I could, but I would have to get out and stretch like a ridiculous amount. Like, everything was stiff in, like, my lower half. I couldn't walk. I couldn't jog for fun. Like, and if I did, I was just in pain.
Exactly.
So then sprinting as an attacker, like, my position is so important. So then all of a sudden it's like I can't get my leg up to a 90-degree angle when I'm stretching.
Yeah, exactly.
So then that's when I then went to the doctor, and then finding out it was completely torn was, like, the hardest thing to hear.
Yes.
But finally hearing that was kind of validating, because when you're in so much pain, it's like, it's hard because, I mean, with your knees, like, you have a brace and everything. Yeah. For my hip, I didn't have anything. Like, there's no, like, visual, like, oh, she's clearly injured. It's like something you just kind of walk around with, and, like, no one really knows.
Do you think being injured is 80% mentality, 20% physical?
Yeah.
Like, going through an actual injury, like, the first months after surgery is like, you're bored, chilling in your bed, you eat junk food, all this. But, like, when you start doing the rehab, it's the same thing over and over and over again. And I think if you're able to push through those things and stay loyal to, I guess, gym, eating, and never forget, like, how good you are, and that you want to be 110% of that, I think everyone can do that. Yeah.
So now you're in this scenario.
Yeah.
Can't play, but you're getting better, but you're planning to head home.
I am.
So how did you come to make that decision? Because you've made a lot of friends here and you're enjoying your time, but you also have to, like, make that decision. So what's your reasoning, and, like, how do you go through that? Because it probably is kind of emotional and, like, easier to stay here than maybe just, like, go back home.
Yeah.
So, like,
it's kind of a hard decision to make, but it's easier when I was trying to weigh up the negatives and the positives.
Yeah.
There's a lot of positives about staying here and a lot of positives about going to Norway, but there's also negatives in both sides. If I go to Norway, I'm going to lose some really, really good friends I've made here. Shout out to the soccer team. But, like, for me, just coming here, and I think it took me a week, and suddenly I was able to talk with a lot of people, and not only the soccer team, but, like, a lot of people around.
Yeah, everyone knows you. Like, you're pretty, like, people know Markus because you're friendly and you're easy to talk to. So, I mean, that kind of is, like, I mean, you came here planning to play soccer, but you've made the best of it while being injured. You've met a lot of friends, you've made a lot of good connections, and I think that's important because you didn't waste your time here when you could have, you know? You could have wasted it and been sad and down about how you can't play soccer and all this, and it happened to you all over again, and it was probably easy to pity yourself, but you didn't.
Like, when I tore my ACL, it became to the point where I was so upset, and I don't want to use the word. What is the word? Yeah,
People use the word
depressed
depressed a lot. Yeah.
I feel like the word depressed is just out there about a lot of things, and I don't even know, but I think I got to the point where I was depressed because like I went to class, after class, went straight to my room and just was in my room every day. And it also sucked, like this is also the first time I'm away from my whole family and from my country for more than a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, of course, you miss like your parents, your sister, and your best friends to take care of you and just have a blast with them, you know. But as you said, like doing the best out of it is of course my only option. And I feel like at least this time with my second surgery, I've been much better at doing that. It's a tough decision deciding to go home at all, but there is. Like when I think of college, I think of course friends and all this, but I also think of injuries.
Yeah.
Like I came here to play soccer, not when the main reason why I'm here is taken away, then also the studying part and those things become so much harder.
Yeah.
Like I can't even open my computer.
Yeah.
It's at that point. So I think what is best for me, honestly, is to go back to Norway and start working, because there is some opportunities back home. I have some 3-4 soccer teams I can contact whenever, but of course I am going to miss a lot of people.
When you think back on like being injured, and kind of how that has defined your experience as like being a college athlete, what is your advice to people who maybe don't have like the opportunity to go back home and kind of, but obviously injuries affect everyone differently, but I think the commonality is that usually when you go to play your sport at a high level for college, that's kind of at least 50% of your identity. And so when you lose that, what would you say to your younger self or to someone who is going through kind of what you went through?
I feel like set a time of, let's say, a couple of weeks, a month to feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah.
Like actually spend time, just feel sorry for yourself. But I feel do whatever. But I feel like it's so important to be able to break out of that mentality and to start kind of like do things for like help people out, because they're gonna appreciate it, they're gonna help you back. Spend a lot of time with your friends. Like for example, if I felt too bored in my room, so a lot of times I took my scooter over to Chinatown to some of my soccer friends, just stay there, watch soccer with them, talk with them. Like it really helps socializing. And I think if you're not a social person by nature like I am, I feel like you have to force yourself to be social. And it's going to help you so much. The days go faster. Like everything is better. And a lot of good conversations, a lot of good tips from your friends. And please do rehab. Like so important. Don't skip a day. Just go to rehab, even though it sucks, even though it hurts. Just do it. If you can stay loyal to those things, I think people are going to be better than what it's going to be better than what you think it is. Being injured, but of course it sucks. But like, do the best out of it.
There's always a silver lining with stuff like that. I feel like there's no way you go through those things and like you don't get anything out of it.
It's all about mentality. Mentality is so underrated in almost everything that happens in life. I think mentality is the most important thing.
All right, so when you go back to Norway, are you going back after Thanksgiving break? Or are you going back after Christmas break? Like, are you going back home in December?
December, yeah. I'm spending Turkey Day here in the US.
Yeah, you're going with Alex and Josh.
I am going to Alabama.
You're going to Bama. And so when you go back to Norway, what is your like main goal once you get there? Like, what is your like reasoning for going home, and like what's your goal once you're settled back in and back to playing?
The first little period, of course, I'm gonna have an amazing Christmas. I'm so excited for Christmas back home. I spent last Christmas here in the US. This Christmas I'm gonna go home and then start working. I have some options. What does working look like? What type of job? Like soccer? No, that would be on the side. Working, like construction. Oh, okay. I have some options in construction, some other options. Want to start working, make some money, finally. And to be honest, my main goal will be me and my best friend has like, we want to start buying houses and apartments and then freshen them up and sell them.
Yeah, so like renovate.
I guess flipping houses,
flipping houses.
Yeah, flipping.
Do you plan to play soccer at all anymore? Like, do you still want to play, or like, what does that look like for you? Do you want to still try to go pro? Is that like a thing that people do in soccer?
Of course.
Like that? Like, can you still do that if you're not playing in school, or like, how does that work?
Oh no, okay. What? Okay.
How does that work?
That's funny. Funny question. Because in Norway and the rest of Europe, you don't have school teams.
Like, they don't have college.
No, you have college, but we don't have sports in college.
Oh.
You would always be attached to a club.
Okay.
So I have some clubs I can go to.
Okay.
But here in US, it's all about, of course you have clubs.
Yeah.
But it's all about college teams.
Oh, okay. So you'll be able to like kind of join in on those groups. Okay.
And it will be like, and there's like adults there, like men with kids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you get drafted to play pro?
No. To go pro, you don't get drafted. You just get a phone call. If you're lucky enough, you get a phone call from a coach or whatever, and we like, hey, you should come over for practice, and we want to see you.
Okay. Jeez, I didn't know that's how it worked. But.
So it's very different. And of course, then you get a contract, you sign all this. But I think like I have this one specific club I want to go to when I get back to Norway, which I played for them 2 times before. Very nice, but it's very different. Like the captain there, I think the 2-3 oldest guys are like 30 something years old, 35.
Is that weird for you sometimes?
No, for me that's normal.
That's normal for you.
For me, it's weird to play with. Okay, I guess I'm one of the older guys of this team, but like being in a team with people around my age, I feel like that is weird. Because there's something about having a 34-year-old man who's played soccer since he's 5 years old, who has this extreme mentality of winning.
Yeah.
So different. I think like a lot of college sports lack that mentality, like having this father figure in a team who is not your coach.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm going to play soccer. This time I'm going to rehab enough.
Yeah. So you don't injure yourself a third time?
Nope. And yeah, just take day by day. But my first month or 2 is going to be just settle back in.
Yeah, be with family and friends.
Yeah, because it feels like I'm living, like one of my friends here in US, he had this, when he went back home to his country, he felt like he lived 2 different lives. Because like all of your friends and families are back home in your country, but you don't talk with them every single day.
Yeah.
Like when I'm here, this is my life. When I'm moving back to Norway, I'll move back to my other life.
Yeah.
It's a weird concept, but it's going to take some time for me to get used to that and just devour my mom's cooking, my mom's food, have a good kebab, all these things. I'm so excited for that.
Good. I'm happy for you. All right. Well,
shout out to Norway.
Shout out to Norway. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Tune back in next Wednesday to see who our next guest is. And thank you, Markus, for coming on.
You're welcome.
And yeah, we wish you the best in Norway.
Thank you so much.
Even though you're leaving Farmville.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.